Hello, cyberspace. My name is Mr. Hosking, and I'm here today to talk to you about types of government. The first major type of government that I'd like to discuss with you today is democracy. There are two major forms of democracy, a direct democracy and an indirect democracy. But no matter what type of democracy you have, democracies are all about people who are eligible having the right to vote to say what's going on in the country. In an indirect democracy, people vote for someone to represent them and make decisions for them. In a direct democracy, they're voting to make those decisions directly. Direct democracies are super rare. The only example I could find in the world today would be Switzerland, whereas indirect democracies seem to be almost all of the other democracies in the world. Places like the United States where we live, or north of us, Canada, or across the sea in England or France, they're all good examples of indirect democracies. People are electing people to represent them in the government. A second major type of government is an autocracy. An autocracy is a government where one person rules. The prefix auto means singular. So one person is having power, having all of the power in the country. It rests on one person. There are two types of autocratic government. The first one's a monarchy, where there's a king or a queen or an emperor and empress. Typically with monarchies, it's hereditary. You're born into the leadership of the country. Today we see some countries that still have constitutions, and there is an absolute power held in the monarch's hand, but it's still a hereditary line of people who rule the country. Saudi Arabia would be a great modern example today where all of the power still lies in the king's hand. A dictatorship is the second type of autocracy, and in a dictatorship, a leader usually takes control through power. In a military dictatorship, it's actually the leader of the military who holds all of the power. Syria and Korea, North Korea specifically, in the world today would be good examples of dictatorships. The third type of government that we see in the world today is an oligarchy. It's a government that's led by a select group of a few people in total power. So it's not an autocracy where one person's in power. There's a handful of people, maybe 6 to 10 people who have power in the country, and they get to make all of the decisions. The Soviet Union and Communist China are good examples. Today, Communist China is the best example of an oligarchy. There's a Politburo with a handful of people who have all of the power in a country. The last major type of government is a theocracy. A theocracy is a country that follows a religious doctrine or rule, so that's how the country is ruled. It's ruled by a religion. Ancient Egypt, where the pharaoh itself was a god or considered a god, and he followed the religious rules, would be an example of a theocracy. And today, modern day Iran would be an example of a theocracy. They follow Sharia law, which is the Muslim law. It follows religious doctrine, so that makes it a theocracy. I hope you've been able to learn a whole bunch from all of these different types of government. I hope you were able to follow along with the note sheet. And there's a short quiz that I would love for you to take. If you insert this tiny URL into your web browser, tinyurl.com, /MHS govt, government. You'll be able to take the short quiz. It's 5 questions. I know you'll be able to do well. Have a great day.